Hey everyone, this is Scott from Forgot to Grow Up. Welcome to our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6, Episode 5 Thoughts video. Just finished watching the latest episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I'm just going to be sharing my general thoughts. So yeah, I just finished watching this episode, and in this episode we learn a lot about Sarge. We finally get to find out a little bit more about Sarge, what he's doing on Earth, why he's come all this way, what's he doing, why all these little things, because him and May have a whole little chat, a big chat throughout this episode, and I really enjoyed it. I like that we finally get to learn a little bit about Sarge. We're still haven't completely unwrapped the entire mystery, but we learned a little bit more about like his motivation, what he's doing there. He's hunting down those parasite things that we saw in the last episode, the bat parasite thing that killed damn it, I already forgot that guy's name. In the last episode, Yo-Yo's boyfriend who died. Anyways, the point is Sarge is chasing down those things, which are apparently the creation of some big bad, which I'm guessing we're going to see at some point in this episode, this season. I'm hoping we're going to see some big crazy bad that can control these bat parasite things. I have no idea what that thing would look like, but I want to know what it is. So I just really love that this is that we got this information about Sarge, and I'm intrigued to find out where we go from here. So yeah, him and the fact he's over 100 years old apparently. So that throws a little twist into the fact but wait, him and Coulson have the same DNA. And originally at the beginning of this episode, May makes a really good point about, being like, well, I know about where Coulson grew up and his parents and and this and that. But then eventually Sarge says he's over 100 years old. So it's like, but wait, that means he's older than Coulson. How? Time travel? Is it time travel maybe? I'm so confused, but I want to know. I want to know more about Sarge and how he's so old, besides being on planets that travel at light speed, which I'm like, is that I don't know if that's, it's obviously possible in the MCU, but is that a thing? I don't know, but I just really enjoyed this, learning about Sarge, May and Sarge, then eventually fighting at the end of the episode and May kicking his ass and ended up capturing him. I just really enjoyed that whole storyline and this episode for giving us that. Throughout their chat, we also get a lot of flashbacks of Tahiti, but with May and Coulson's time, last moments in Tahiti, or last few weeks in Tahiti. It seems like they maybe show the scene that he drifts off, but it's hard to say. He might have just fell asleep. But still, it was cool to see some of those flashbacks. I still think it's kind of, why can't the show take them to Tahiti, or at least to actual beach? It's it seemed pretty obvious. I got it the first couple times in the first seasons, but we're at a weird point now where it's couldn't you guys find a beach to do this as opposed to green screen and a really 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 bright light? Because it's the shadows. I could see some of the shadows, and I'm like, that doesn't happen when you're on a natural beach. Sand's reflective. But anyways, those are just really tiny little things. It's more about for the actors. Why can't they get a little work trip to the beach for once as opposed to a green screen? That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I just really enjoyed all of that. But now going on to the other storyline with the space team, we see the space team who now have Enoch and are trying to convince Enoch to help them get Fitz. But then they end up getting captured by Enoch's people, and Enoch then finds out that his home planet and his people's home planet was destroyed somehow in some very mysterious kind of happenstance from a space-time disturbance, which I'm like, is that similar to what happened in last season on Earth, that they had the seal with the thing that turned Fitz bad for a little bit? Is that a similar thing? Did theirs get out of control and suck the whole planet in? Is that what they were implying? It was it seemed like they were keeping it really vague and not really giving us very specific details about how their planet went to shit. But that did happen, and so Enoch's people are taking Fitz and Gemma captive or as prisoners in order to force them to invent time travel so that they can go back to save their planet, and then releasing Daisy and them to go back to Earth. So I'm really curious to see where this goes with Enoch's people. It sucks that Enoch and Fitz were best friends, and now their friendship seems to be pretty much over at this point now, because Enoch obviously has a certain loyalty to his people, but it's also you could be nicer to your friend. You kind of just acting like you guys were never friends now just because you got a responsibility to your people who are dead. So it's that was an interesting conundrum, which I'm very interested to see throughout the rest of the season how they develop. Will they make up? Will Enoch do something to revive himself in the eyes of Gemma and Fitz? It's hard to say. I hope they become best friends again. I hope they're besties. But yeah, and then we also get Daisy, Piper, and Davis returning to Earth. That's how this episode ends. Them returning and them having to then tell Daisy. We don't get this, but we end off with the like kind of not cliffhanger, but the ending of being like, oh, Daisy's gonna now find out what's going on with the Sarge dude, and he looks like Coulson, and we're gonna have to go from there and seeing. So I'm really curious to get to this next episode. Hopefully we don't get any more hiatuses while we get the rest of these episodes for this season. But yeah, that's all my thoughts for this episode. Be sure to let me know in the comments below what you thought about this episode. I'm always curious to hear that stuff. But thanks again for joining me today. Sure, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Have a good one.